There we go. Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
We're back again. It's lovely to see you. We wanted to talk again about a house today that we have smelt a few things from and have loved, and are consistently first-rate quality, aren't they? I mean, I can't think of many others.
Yeah, I mean, so, again, it's one of those houses that you feel maybe we've been smelling them for years, but it's actually only been about a year.
Yeah.
If that. But
so they've encouraged a feeling of obsessive love, haven't they?
This is the new collection
Beautiful.
from Bortnikoff. And just so you know, because I know there are people who care about these things, so I bought these with my money, samples of the new collection. We weren't given these. I really wanted to try them, so I bought them.
I mean, we're always keen to see what they've got, aren't they, really?
I mean, as Joe said, I mean, if you're someone who has just smelled Creed and Xerjoff, or even if you think Roger Dove is, those kind of fragrances are as good as it gets, you really should try Bortnikoff, because they are in a completely different league to something like Roger Dove in terms of ingredients.
Yeah, I mean, the sheer dedication and love that you can tell goes into every fragrance. Yeah, it's immense.
And so we watch videos of Dimitri when he talks about wading through kind of snake-infested water to get the kind of flowers, and he's somebody that worked originally with Russian Adam from Rouge L'Adoré. They worked at Feel Oud.
I keep forgetting that. Yeah, and
he's obsessive about ingredients, and my God,
it's inspiring.
I mean, there are several things about which are true of all of these fragrances. So I'll just say that. The ingredients are amazing.
Yeah.
The blend is, and this is something which is slightly different, I think, to a Rouge L'Adoré fragrances. The blend here is just absolutely seamless.
Yeah.
There are no rough edges. You never feel you're being punched by an ingredient. You never feel like this is this ingredient. Boom, boom, boom. It's absolutely kind of smooth and effortless.
I mean, they all feel very classically minded as well, and very. With a real respect for the whole history of perfume making.
The one thing I will say, which if it were up to me and I could ask him to change, I really would like him to do 30ml bottles. Yeah. Because two of these fragrances are $350. One is $330. They're all 50ml extrait, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
With this kind of. Quality of these are not everyday fragrances. I
wouldn't use it.
I don't need a 50ml. I mean, to be honest, if I bought a 50ml, I would sell 20ml like decants to kind of recoup the money. But I would really like him to do 30ml bottles.
Yeah.
I know maybe it's not as cost effective, and also
I think you might sell more though. I think.
Yeah, quite possibly. People
who are debating would do it.
But it is a request. Anyway. Enough chat.
Yeah, let's smell them.
So I bought these fragrances. So I've had at least kind of 2 or 3 wearings of each of them. I've had to try really hard not to finish off these and actually make sure I saved them for Joe.
I appreciate that.
So Joe, what do you want to try first?
Well, should we start with the green one there, which is the Vétiver? Was it Vétiver Absolu?
Vétiver Nocturne Absolu.
Vétiver Nocturne.
Right. Do you want to go on skin?
Yeah, let's go on skin. Can I go on inside?
You're going to go in there. Right, I'm also going to spray on this card, so I've got a bit of card as well.
There we go.
So, this is the third, I'll just let you kind of...
Oh.
This is the third... Oh, wow.
See, that's stunning straight away.
This is the third incarnation of Vétiver Nocturne. So, it was originally released in 2 years ago, 2018. Then he did last year, he did a Vétiver Nocturne 19, along with Oud Maximus 19. This... it's the third version. Now, I've got to say, neither of us have smelt the other versions, so we can't talk about those. No. We're just talking about what we're smelling here.
Oh, there's a slightly sweet medicinal oud. God, that's bloody good.
I mean, for me, really you were just kind of thrust into this kind of green jungle. I don't really get Vétiver straight away.
I'm getting more like the best quality apples in the world ever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. A kind of appley feel. It's kind of a juicy, fruity. I really feel that it's.
God.
I feel, and I get the. I feel. It's like a night garden. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, a lot of Bortnikoff fragrances feel like you're thrust into a. A really kind of floral, bright, lots of bright flowers. Whereas this feels deeper
beautifully
and
exotic.
Just reading some of my notes down here. I mean, you definitely get. There are kind of white florals as well. You definitely get some neroli and jasmine.
Very chewy.
It's just so tense and it's so rich, and immediately you're kind of plunged into this kind of rich.
Vetivers are normally, for my money, they're normally either quite smoky or they're quite astringently grassy, slightly polite, well-behaved, officey things. I mean, that's a big generalization, but this is so rich and opulent, and he somehow made Vétiver bigger than it could ever be.
Yeah, and
it's sort of blooming.
I think there must be several kind of types of Vétiver in here, because, as you say, I would never ever smell this and say this is Vétiver. Not for the first half hour, anyway. After half an hour, I start to get something which I recognise as Vétiver. I say there's more of a kind of appley greenness with some jasmine and some kind of chewy white florals.
Ah, yeah.
But you don't get frangipani in this. I don't think there's any frangipani at all, which you get in a lot of Bortnikoff fragrances. I don't get it in this.
That's that cakey thing that I like, isn't it? I get a slight. It is a slightly indolic thing, just gently poking its head around, but it's competing against that green, sort of that green ripe tart apple thing.
And all the way under. I mean, I think this is the one of the three which doesn't have oud in it, but underneath it all, I just feel there is a bed of creamy sandalwood.
I get some oud in there. I get a slightly sweet medicinal oud. I don't know if there is.
Maybe,
I get a little something oudy.
Yeah, maybe there is something. I don't know if he lists it. Let me see what he puts on the list. No, he's got two types of sandalwood. Sweet oud. I don't know what sweet oud is.
Sweet oud.
Yeah. But I think there is.
Well, maybe that's meant to be sweet oud.
Maybe, yeah. But there is there is a rich, smooth, complex woodiness.
Yeah.
Which maybe kind of feels a bit like.
Slight smoky tea aspect as well, beginning to poke its head through. Something like a really beautiful jasmine tea or something, if there's such a thing existed. That's really, really bloody good, isn't it?
It just is amazing. And I think, on skin, none of Bortnikoff fragrances are never, I don't think, huge fragrances. They're never kind of shouty in your face, but what you do get is you get an amazing feeling of depth, and richness and complexity.
It's very beautiful as well. It's very beautiful. I mean, it started off sort of almost like an animalic cloud of green.
Yeah.
If you can have animalic green, but now it's just settled into something it's very soft and round.
Yeah.
Beautifully classical. I mean, there's not a single rough edge to be had anywhere.
No, so smooth.
Like the amber cologne and things like that I smelled a long time ago. Just absolutely beautifully proportioned. Oh, that's really good.
Right. Do you want to
I'm a huge fan of that.
What do you want to try next? That's the one that's $330. What do you know? You got Triad.
Middle one. Whichever one's in the middle there.
So I think we've got Triad. Have you got some skin?
Yeah. Let's do that outside of that hand. Now I actually am in the Triads, so this will be quite cool.
So this is about a kind of triptych of oud. So you got Sri Lankan oud, Thai oud, and Chinese oud. What I love about this house as well, I've been following Dmitry Bortnikoff's channel on Instagram and looking at him, harvesting this Sri Lankan oud and the kind of process of grinding it down and then distilling it. But so this why I was surprised about this, and I don't know how you feel, that for the first half an hour, definitely, it's not the oud really which dominates. For me, it's the rose. Yeah. And which is why
beautiful rose.
Which is why it's so good.
Dusty rose. Dusty and dusky.
I don't think he's done. I mean, Oud Maximus was a rose oud, I suppose, but that had so much of that kind of like there's orange and there's citrus and there's quite funky opening. This is very, 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 very different.
God,
this is so good.
Very, very beautiful again.
And what? So I didn't look at the notes of this, and so when I posted about it on Instagram, and I thought it was Typh rose. because I get a kind of real greenness.
Yeah, it's got that lemony geranium thing that you often get with Thai rose.
Yeah, but it's not. It's actually Rose de Mai, and I think, having worn it a few times more, I think what it is, and you notice the Sri Lankan oud is also in the other fragrance, Oud Sinharaja, and I think the Sri Lankan oud has got a little bit of kind of green vegetal, slight sharpness, which makes a Rose de Mai smell like a Thai rose.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
but it is.
I mean, I think that's beautiful because it's sort of it has a nod to that classic rose oud idea, but it's so much better, and it's so much. Yeah, it's so much more. It's so much more than that.
And I really
beautiful Turkish delight aspect, like lemon rose dipped in the most expensive flour from the best wheat on the planet.
And I really feel that somehow. It'd be great to smell the Sri Lankan oud in isolation, but I really feel it's working to enhance the rosiness of the rose. And there's another thing. I don't know if you will get it, but I was just aware. We smelled a few things with magnolia recently. So you know the January Scent Project Serin, which has got a lot of magnolia, and then
olives and mushrooms or something as well.
But magnolia was not something I was always aware of a lot before. But then when we went to see Sarah McCartney from 4160 Tuesday, she had some magnolia, and now I recognise magnolia in fragrances more.
Yeah.
I feel that magnolia creeps up in this, and it joins with the rose, and I feel magnolia, difficult to describe, there's kind of a bitter, dark dustiness to magnolia, which I just feel works perfectly with the rose and oud.
It fits like a dream, doesn't it?
I think you're starting to get that a bit now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's so good.
Absolutely getting that.
And the main thing about this fragrance is, if you're someone who wants to try the best rose oud ever, but you're a bit intimidated by Hindi ouds, big funky, maybe slightly like cheesy ouds, and you think, oh, I don't like that. It's not. I want to smell these amazing luxury ingredients, but I just don't like that funky stuff. And maybe if you smelt Oud Maximus and you thought, well, I appreciate there's really good quality there, but I found the opening of Oud Maximus too challenging. This,
I would go for that a million times. That could be a turn of the century Guerlain again.
Yeah.
I bang on about them all the time, but
do you feel like there's this kind of savoury quality to? There's a kind of greenness, like a vegetal, like a kind of a green root. And I don't know if it's some way the Sri Lankan oud. Again,
I get like sort of the slight tarragon in a butter creamy sauce thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Very creamy, very buttery, very
it's
round.
Interesting. Again, when I did my Instagram post of this, it was like I just sprayed it and I smelled it, and I described the feeling as chocolatey. Now, it doesn't smell like chocolate.
No.
But I think what I meant was that feeling of, and I think I'm actually referring to kind of quite cheap milk chocolate, but that feeling of warm, cosy creaminess you get with chocolate.
Absolutely.
So this doesn't smell chocolatey.
It is a feeling.
Like something like Russian oud by Originadore is obviously a chocolatey oud, whereas you don't get that. Now, what you won't unfortunately
Really
get
beautiful.
in this video is what kind of comes next.
Yeah.
So, which is,
I'll have to wait a while, I think.
Eventually, this. When I first put this on, I thought, why is it called Triad? Because I really think it's about this one oud and this rose. And I thought, that's a silly name. But then eventually I do feel the rose takes a back seat after about 45 minutes. And it then does become about these three ouds. And it's just, it really is. It just swims around you. As you wear it throughout the day, you really feel this kind of transition from kind of slightly, this kind of almost, like vegetally kind of sharp greeny oud. You then go to kind of darker, kind of richer. You've just taken on this journey.
Amazing to have oud at all three levels of the pyramid here.
Let me just look at see what
how many fragrances have oud in the top, middle, and base.
And it's also got what's it called? Bouya, which I think he's used before, which is similar to agarwood. So it's a similar kind of wood. And then
beautiful.
In the end of this, right towards the end, I'm talking kind of like 8 hours in, you get this kind of a slight sweet tonkeriness, which you do get in some, like Muscovy, for instance.
Yeah.
You get a classic French Tonkery dry down. But you don't really expect that from this, because this feels more Oriental than French.
Yeah.
But the other thing you get, which is quite fun, is just a bit of Harasim.
Oh, really?
And like just at the end, just as you think this isn't an animalic fragrance, it's not animalic. There's just a little bit of furriness.
Little tint.
And I think there must be some other resins. I don't know if there's like a bit of lavender or benzoin, but just towards the end of it, just as you feel.
I can imagine them just poking their head out.
That's freaking
a
awesome.
little bit. Beautiful.
I mean, right.
So beautiful.
One more.
And smooth and elegant and all that good stuff. And that Vétiver is beautiful as well.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely gorgeous.
I'm sorry if we come across as kind of sycophantic, but like
tough shit. We love it.
Like, if you smell this, you know, this is perfume lover's perfume.
Yeah.
It's not big.
Made by a perfume lover.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Should we go on my hand?
Yeah.
Do you want to hold that and I'll spray it onto? If you put it on my hand, so we get the hand on. So this is Oud Sinharaja.
Sinharaja. So this is rainforest.
It's like a Sri Lankan, kind of jungle kind of reserve. Now,
oh wow!
And I'll tell you, if I just you kind of smell. When I wore this,
pickle.
again, I wore it a couple of times. If I keep looking down here, because I don't know if you see that, I always make notes. I can barely read.
It looks like Mozart's manuscripts.
When I first sprayed this, I thought this is Bortnikoff, great, lovely. In a way, I was a bit disappointed because I thought, it said Oud forest, like Sinharaja, kind of type of forest, whereas what I get is classic Bortnikoff DNA. I was reminded of amber cologne. I was really reminded of Muscovy. Like you get this white florals and grapefruit vibe, which you get from amber cologne.
I love the grapefruit thing.
And then in a minute, very soon I think, you get the cardamom, which reminds me of Muscovy.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, this isn't an oud fragrance at all. This is this is that we've gone back into that kind of Bortnikoff does French.
Yeah.
Kind of classic kind of, is it going to turn into a kind of chypre kind of thing?
Sort of something slightly like buttery almondy thing as well.
But that's his.
That frangipane.
Yeah, you get that frangipane, that real kind of Bortnikoff, which some people I've spoken to don't like it. That kind of like chewy, sweet floral. Well, I think it smells
love
awesome.
it. I think it makes such a beautiful opening to something.
But again,
it's DNA.
But this, more than any of the others, I just felt like it completely changed, and I was really, really surprised as I wore it that it took me on a journey I didn't expect. So this opening section, which we're kind of smelling at the moment, which smells absolutely beautiful, these kind of like white florals with a bit of grapefruit, bit of cardamom, but it's quite familiar to some Bortnikoff things which I've done before, and I thought, is he just reusing old DNA? That's a bit disappointing. But then I started to get what I think was the magnolia, which you also get in Triad, which takes it in that kind of drier, more bitter direction. And then I got the oud.
Oh, really?
And I really felt that it turned from a bright, uplifting, energetic thing to a much woodier, warmer oud fragrance. And I just didn't see it coming. And I think there's some other wood. There's some cedar, or there must be some other wood. Let me look at the thing. Atlas cedar, yeah. So there's some Atlas cedar in it as well, which really gave me the image of the trees.
Look, can I smell it on your hand?
Yeah.
God, yeah.
So so it's almost as if you started at the edge of the forest, maybe, or I think we're thinking jungle. If we're thinking kind of Sri Lanka, imagine there are some waterfalls with some fresh white florals growing on it. It's lush. There are birds flying all over the place. You're experiencing that. It's bright sunshine. It's the middle of the day, and then later you go darker, or you go deeper into the forest and it gets darker, and suddenly there's a canopy of trees which has cut out the sunlight, and you're not aware of these white flowers anymore, and what you're aware of is dark, rich wood.
But where the flowers used to be, that one thing replaces another. I like the fact that this also feels kind of slightly cold. It feels slightly austere in a way. I mean,
but I think that's cardamom. I think that's what cardamom does, because like cardamom sometimes gives you a like a clinical, bitter, medicinal quality, which is a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But that
it's slightly unnerving.
Yeah. almost like, so it feels like a picture, like a photograph, like a snapshot.
Yeah.
But later, as I say, I really feel it warms up. And again, as with Triad, there's a bit of something resinous. There's some, again, maybe it's a bit of labdanum, but something becomes a bit sexy then. But
something quite dangerous about it.
But
it's just like femme fatale in the forest or something like that. I don't know. God, I think these are absolutely stunning.
Smell your left hand now.
Yeah. So this.
See, that smells like. See, do you see what I mean? Now you smell Vétiver.
Yeah. But with a slight toffee sweetness to it as well. I mean, that's really beautiful, isn't it?
I mean, it's amazing, and that gets
such good quality.
It's just.
And Triad you can tell Triad is in the journey. It's transitioning.
I'm sorry that you're not
going
to get it. You've got the rest of the afternoon.
I know. I'm going to enjoy that later on tonight when I get back. I think they're stunning. I mean,
it's just difficult.
I'm always left slightly speechless.
It's difficult not to love this, and it's interesting because I kind of the first one I tried was Triad, and I thought initially I loved that one, and I was a bit disappointed by Oud Sinharaja because I thought, this is it felt like maybe he was just reusing old DNA, but I've kind of changed my mind now, and I've actually feel like Oud Sinharaja is probably potentially the most interesting one.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I feel Triad, does kind of amazing. It is a rose oud of the most exceptional quality, but in the most wearable way. I mean, I recently bought like an absolutely gobsmacking rose oud, which is Jiraiya by Sultan Pasha, which is all about Taif rose and Hindi oud. But it is absolutely spellbindingly. But the Hindi oud is a Hindi oud, so it is a bit more kind of funky and skanky. So this is more wearable. I mean, I would say if you're maybe a bit scared of oud, but you want to smell amazing ingredients, Triad is the one for you.
And you don't want that sort of westernized synthetic oud that you'll find in a lot of the sort of oudy things.
Yeah.
This is real beautiful stuff. Just treated in such a way that everything is enveloped and seamless.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I'm loving that at the moment the most.
Yeah.
Triad.
I mean, I'm trying to find some bad things to say.
But it's hard. I mean,
it's hard. I mean, what I will, as I said earlier, if you are expecting fragrances which last 24 hours and project massively, you will not get that. And because these are lots of natural materials, so they aren't that kind of fragrance. But if you're someone that just loves high quality natural ingredients and beautifully blended fragrances, then this is for you.
And like we said, they are expensive, but I think they're absolutely worth that price.
Yeah.
The amount of labour and skill and craft that's gone into that. It's a work of art. It's no different than a painting or a really fantastic musical instrument that's been made by a Stradivarius.
Please,
artwork.
Please, can we have 30ml bottles?
Yeah.
Because at the moment I can't afford to kind of buy one of these. But if it was 30ml, so I guess that would maybe be $250 instead of $350. I mean,
it makes a difference. I would invest.
But it makes it just that much more kind of conceivable.
And you don't want to waste it as well. I mean, you're lucky in a way that you sell decants and things. But actually, if you didn't, and you had a 50ml of that in a collection as big as yours, you'd end up wasting it and not enjoying it. And actually, 10 years down the line or however long it is, you'll go, I've got like 45 mils of this stuff still left. It's not an everyday thing. It is you need to be able to just spend the day loving it and living with it.
So if you're going to buy one, which one would it be?
For me, at the moment, I would say number one would be Triad. Because I love that. I love that geranium-y Turkish delight rose. I love that. But I think also the Vétiver. I love the Vétiver. It's very different. And I normally think that I hate like big green apple-y things, and actually it's got me, it's won me over from something I didn't think I'd like. Actually, potentially I might switch. That's really good.
And you're not getting the EU part of this yet, unfortunately. But see, there's something, I'm not a big Vétiver lover, but then I kind of think, if I'm only going to own one Vétiver.
Yeah, you may as well get that. That's the thing. If it's a note that you're not particularly in love with, you may as well have it done by an absolute master like that than any countless number of sort of
And there's
crappy
and
veterans
the thing about Triad, I really love Triad, and there are moments. I mean,
there it is.
oh, it's so good. In a way, I think Oud Maximus is a bit more theatrical, and it's a bit more of a wow fragrance than Triad. But I can't wear. There are days when I think Oud Maximus is not appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people, if I'm going to be, it's a hot day and I'm going to be in close space, I wouldn't wear Oud Maximus, whereas I would wear Triad. Now,
Yeah.
and then Oud
beautiful. It's so
Sinharaja. I mean,
beautiful.
I just love the fact that it takes me somewhere I wasn't expecting. It'd be a great
Yeah.
one to kind of maybe put on, if it's a warm day, to put on in the afternoon when it's still sunny and you get that bright uplifting opening. And then
Yeah.
later as it goes to the evening, you're taken into this lovely woody, sexy Oudi land.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They are really transportative as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing like this that I'm smelling
Yeah.
in this Western perfume planet that we're on.
I mean, thank you, Dimitri. I mean, if
really wonderful
other
stuff.
people, let us know what you think about these, because they are, they're complicated fragrances, and as you said, like Joe's only just trying them for the first time here, so he's not getting the kind of whole experience of them. Sorry,
But
Joe.
I'm in love. I'm really in love with these.
So let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Until next time,
Bye.
happy sniffing.